Lisa McCall, physical therapist, posture princess, lover of movement. Structure training is kind of my thing. I think that's a good phrase to say what I do because strength training has become very popular today, which is fine. But I think it's misleading a little bit that your muscles are attached to your bones. And if you have good alignment, or if you have a real good sense of where your structure is from each joint, I'm talking very, very detailed, you would be amazed at how much more efficiently your muscles work. So I am a structure lover. So today what we're going to do is we're going to find out, why would we stick our butt on the wall? Yes, I teach a thing called Butt Up the Wall. I have a video on my YouTube channel that I did 11 years ago, so thought it was about time to give you another one of the same thing. little remake here. Okay, so I would like to talk to you about why I do Butt Up the Wall. Number one, it teaches you how to bend. And to know how to bend means you know a lot about how to move. And why does it matter that you know a basic thing like bending? Is because all basic movements, which I call foundation movements, fundamentals, whatever you want to call it, they all have a great impact on every other movement that you do. So then you may go, well, what does that have to do with my back pain? Because we always want to get to the source. What's that going to do for my back pain? It's going to make it better, if not go away. And then another interesting thing happens when you begin to bend well is that you have confidence in your body. You have more efficiency. You move with ease better. Your ability to move without wearing out so fast. There's so many little benefits that come with efficient bending. Now, when I go into this movement, I do hope you'll do it with me. I hope you will practice it with me, because when you ask questions, it is so much more beneficial to you and everyone else if you ask from the experience of trying it than asking from your mind wondering. Because the wondering mind will always have questions. Always, 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 always. But when we physically engage in something, we have a different kind of question. And it is a much more valuable question because it feeds into your physical answer. Okay? Now, most people get a feeling that they get a good hamstring stretch for this movement. And a lot of people, that's what they use it for. But while we do this, I want you to ponder, why are our hamstrings tight? Why? Nobody ever asks that. Maybe it's because we don't bend well, because when you bend well, you use your hamstrings on a regular basis, and then your hamstrings don't get tight. Stunning. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go over here into this corner, and I'm going to start doing it. We're going to break down the details of Butt Up the Wall. I use a chair and a wall. Okay? So here we go. Heels comfortable width apart. Heels. Toes are straight ahead at first, then I turn them out just a tad. Then what I'm doing is I shift my weight into my heels and I relax my belly. I always relax every muscle I possibly can because I want to use the muscle in a relaxed state. All body parts that are muscular, relaxed. Then I bring my fingers out around onto my back, on my spine. I want to find a little small arch there. I need a small arch of my back so that I can bend from my hips. If I have tucked my bottom, I will not have an arch in my back and I will not be bending from my hips. Okay? So I've got, right now, I got my fingers along my spine. My thighs are going to turn out a little, like I'm on a skinny horse, but my feet stay planted. Now here I go. I take my buttocks back and I start to put it up higher and higher on the wall. Now you may go, that's all I got. Okay. Notice that I do not drop my upper body. My upper body is lagging behind in a sense. My hips are bending, but my chest is not dropping like this. So I am getting to a point where maybe for you, that's it. I like people to grab their butt and stick it up on the wall. Then you're going to need a chair to lean on. Okay, so here we are in butt up the wall. And one of the most important things about butt up the wall is that you feel it behind your knees, or excuse me, behind here, your legs. And the second thing is that you can relax your arms on the chair, because we really want to feel what is it for my butt to be up in the air and my back straight, because this is bending. So I'm going to do it again. Hands on the spine, fingers on the spine, thighs turn out, shift my weight into my heels. Sometimes I get a little squat, little tiny squat, so that my knees stay soft, because if my knees walk out, I can't get where I want to go. So at the very end of take the bottom of your underwear up the wall. How's that? And then you can straighten your legs a little if you like. But don't walk them out. Just, you're really more about your butt up on the wall, okay? So if you think of rolling up the wall, then you've got it. Now, butt up the wall, if you stay in butt up the wall for an hour, not for an hour, for about 60 seconds, maybe. If you hang out here, you'll find out when you get up with a straight spine that your center of your body will have shifted and you will feel taller, oftentimes. Okay, one more time. Fingers on the spine, soften the knees, turn the thighs out. Now this time I'm going to change it up a little. I'm going to squat a little more, just because I want to have some freedom in here. I'm going to grab my butt. I'm going to pull my butt up and stick it on the wall. Now when my bottom is sticking on the wall, my butt, believe it or not, I am becoming smart. You could say you're becoming a smart ass. That's kind of tacky, I guess. I don't know, but you are. Only way for the body to really understand something is to feel it. So when my butt feels this wall here, then when I go over to bend, my bottom, that part that I touched on the wall, it knows to go up as I go down. So as I go over with my butt up, my torso goes down. So it's a hinging. And here's my hip, let's say, and here's my head. So my butt goes up and my head goes down. And that's the way, I'm going to use this photo here. That's the way many people in many countries, that's the way they live all day, is bending and working in the fields. So you could not bend and work in the fields like that if it wasn't really very efficient. So you get a very strong back, strong legs, strong buttocks, but you also come up and there is a sense of centering, meaning you feel more maybe in your feet, more maybe taller. It's different for everyone. But I want to start there, and I want to explain that. I'll take a few questions, then I'm going to go back and talk to you about why having my butt stick out, and my butt's not very big, but it sticks out. Why is it that it's good for me to have a butt that sticks out a little versus a butt that drops down? And I'm going to go into that just a bit. Do you have any questions yet?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to answer a few questions, and then I'm going to run over here and go into a second thought about how we use that movement.
Izzy in Mesa asks, where'd you come up with this idea?
Okay, so I had a teacher named Angie Thusius, and she's from Honduras, and her English was not her first language. And I met her probably about 30 years ago-ish, yeah. And when Angie was making these moves that she had learned from the woman named Noelle Perez, if you want a little history, I feel Angie thought different. She thought as an artist, because she is an artist. And she wanted you, I know, to some degree, to have that feel. And so when she said butt up the wall, she meant it literally. Why not put the butt on the wall? Which was a brilliant idea. And so it is a way in which you feel the movement so much deeper when the butt is up on the wall. So it was not my creation, it was Angie's. And that's where I got it from. There you go. Okay.
Henry in Peoria says, when I'm doing it, I feel it in my quads more than my hamstrings.
Okay,
What
that's
does that mean?
Okay, so that means your weight is shifted forward a little. So what I would do if I were you, I'd put more space between your feet. So you still may feel it in the quads, but if a little more space between the feet and squat a little deeper so that your butt gets a little higher. Now you may still feel it in the quads, but if you can feel some in here, and I really don't mind where you put your arms, this will quiet down. Quads get real engaged and then they don't even relax. So the interesting thing is a lot of people over engage in this muscles, and the more they do this bending movement, your quads will quiet down. Because often we overuse these muscles, and that can be from lots of different things. But the best way I have found to get a muscle to relax is to not use it so much. That's what the whole part of the McCall Method is. The more efficient we are, the less stretching and relaxing of muscle groups we have to do because we don't overuse them.
Willie in Redmond, Washington asks, my neck is feeling a little strained, but maybe that's because I'm looking up.
Yeah, you can not look up on butt up the wall. You can put your fingers on your spine. You can turn your thighs out, take your butt up, touch the wall. I like to lift. Then what I really recommend is get a chair that's at a height that you can actually rest your head. I think that this is one of the greatest things I ever learned was that I could actually rest my head in a position that was really working something else. That combination of relaxing my head and neck. And I mean, I really, really encourage you to put your head on your hands. And then having your butt or back of your backside is really engaged. The relaxation of your head and neck is going to relax a lot of muscles that don't need to be working. We're kind of eliminating a lot of habitual movement patterns that just don't need to be there. And the only way to do that sometimes is relaxing the belly, relaxing the neck, letting the body wake up to other movements or ways of moving.
Let's see here. Sally in Flagstaff asks, what's more important, the height of my butt on the wall or how close my feet should be to the wall?
Yeah, that's really good. How close you get your butt to the wall is going to be very, very individualistic, meaning I have a lot of people that'll put their feet too far away and try to reach it and can't find it, or they'll get really close and then they fall over. So you've got to find a distance that feels good to you. And then the thing that keeps you from going, the thing that'll tell you this is as much as I can do, is how much stretch you get in your hamstrings and you keep the arch in your back. So sometimes you can get in the position and maybe you can scoot your feet back a little or scoot your bottom up. But once you've got a balance, and I like to pull my toes up because that tells me I'm in my heels more. If you can do that, just kind of flex your toes up. You have to figure this piece out. It really is a balance between the height of the butt and the feet against the wall and your body build.
Ronnie in Los Angeles asks, how does stabilizing my butt and spine on the wall help when I try to rotate?
Oh, did you talk about rotation?
I didn't.
Oh, good. That was going to be my next subject.
Well, why don't we just
go there
and then you can answer it.
Yeah, now I'm going to go there. I was going to talk about rotation with bending. So here's one rotation, is bending. Maybe that's what you're talking about, but I'm going to bring another one in. Thank you very much. So I'm doing this. I'm bending over. Let's do this.
Take a step back.
Okay. So let's say I've got my chair here. I can go back further.
That's good.
I'm going to be a little on the rug and a little off. And I want to get my glasses. I'm rotating. I pick up my glasses. Okay. I put my hands on my back so that I know my back doesn't cheat. My back has an arch. My spine is straight. My shoulders are going to be open because I put my hands on my back. That's one rotation. Okay. The second rotation I want you to understand is the rotation in here. So right now, the World Series is on, and watching baseball players is a very good way to watch how the body moves well. Okay. I like to watch baseball because it's slower. And you can see a guy standing there, and you can see his butt is sticking out. He's not dropping his butt. He's not dropping his tailbone. And he's got a bat. And they have more upright postures because they like home runs better. And I think if you stand up taller, you can hit it out versus it used to be more base hitting. It doesn't matter. You're either here, you're here. But if you will notice baseball players, they are relaxed and they are walking around, and every one of them, their butt is sticking out, and they got a butt. They got a good, strong butt. They sprint, which causes you to have big sprinting. They got sprinters' butts and legs. Okay, that's another subject, but I want you to notice that when you want to rotate, you have to keep your arch in your back and your butt back. There's this whole belief and embracing of this tailbone dropping, and if you drop your tailbone, you are not going to rotate well. Anatomically, it is just not the way the body was built. You have a lumbar spine and you have a sacrum, and where they meet is a very powerful place in the human pelvis for the body to rotate. Okay? Golfers stick their butt out and back and down. Golfers and baseball players are easy to see, and they are doing what's called a closed chain movement. Closed chain means my feet are stuck and I turn without picking my feet up. That's called closed chain. Open chain is a soccer player. Okay? Soccer players are more open chain. Basketball is both closed chain, open chain. Okay? Open is legs feet come off, off the ground. Closed chain, they are stuck. Okay? So here's what you want to understand. To rotate well, you do not drop your tailbone. Then you took away the bony part, you took away the stability of the lumbar sacral arch, which causes all these muscles in this area to be very, very powerful. Very powerful. So when you watch sports, even if you don't like to watch them, just watch movement. These are people who move on a very, very, very high level. And so you can understand how the body is made to be built by watching the people who are the most efficient at doing a complicated movement, like hitting a baseball, hitting a golf ball, throwing a basketball in a basket. These are complex movements that have really very obvious, great foundations. So for me to know how to move from my center, I have to relax here. My leg bones have to be more in line with my spine, and I've got to have that small, natural, bony arch. It's a bony arch, even though you feel all your your booty and your back. That's muscle that develops after the bony arch is in place. And all the muscles develop. Your abs This right here, this part of my belly is the front of my back. It's a very powerful place, but I see it trained and exercised so weird. They don't train and exercise it, most people, to match its back. The front and back, it's the front and back. They should match. They should be dancing together, not one doing one thing, one doing something else. They're a match. Watch a baseball player. Okay, that was my second story.
Let's see if I have any. Well, let me give you one more on the put up the wall.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
When I go over, I feel like my back is level to the ground, and you look a little inclined.
Okay.
Which is right.
You're both right. It just depends
That's
on.
Rex in Richmond.
Okay, Rex, here's the deal. As long as I've got this long arch, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to move my shirt up. Okay. Now, here's what goes on. I'm going over. I still have my straight back. Can you see that, John? Is it
Yep.
right? Okay. My back is still like that. My back is still like that. I have flexible hamstrings. I can go way over without losing my arch. But then, do you see that? These guys start sticking out. That's not a level back. I have to keep the stretch in here, not in here. So I could go over more. If you're going over more, that's wonderful. That's fine, as long as your back is straight. You got your arch.
Barry in Des Plaines, Illinois says, I think all pro athletes probably have strong butts, except it's more obvious with baseball players. Why do you think? It's not just their uniforms.
No, they have to move efficiently, okay? They have to move well. The athletes that have a different body oftentimes than what you're used to seeing is swimmers. Swimmers are horizontal with gravity. They're horizontal. They don't stand. A lot of times they're not great at upright movements because they spend all their time horizontal. Okay, so upright postures. You will see a more developed butt on a sprinting type activity like baseball, because you don't see that as much in a soccer player, but you'll see a butt. And what I'm trying to point out to you more is that use your common sense. We've left common sense in this society today. People come up and go, yeah, I got my strong core, I pull in and I drop down. I'm like, what in the world does that mean? Why do you do that? Now, if I'm going to do a forward roll, that would be if I'm doing a forward roll, if I'm doing a belly dancing move, I go in and out of that. But you hold your body in that position, it doesn't make sense because it's not efficient. It's not an efficient way in which the structure is going to help the body move. So think about it that way. These baseball players can move well because they stand and bend well. Their sport demands efficiency. So I'm just showing you that this life movement overflows into all your movements. And if you look at a really great athlete, baseball player, basketball, you will begin to see they have similar ways in which their pelvis is positioned. That's all I was trying to do.
Charlie in Cheyenne asks, am I straining something if I don't use a chair?
No, but I think in the beginning, if you're going to ever get this really right, a chair or a sink, like sometimes people say, I don't have a wall, so can I do butt up the air? And I teach butt up the air a lot. Like if you're in your bathroom and this is your bathroom sink, you can go over and you can rest. Until you get this piece really good where you can rest, then doing it like this can be a little bit hard to get the quality of the movement because you're so engaged. excuse me. And so you want to be able to lean on something. I have to plug my computer in, excuse me, people. You want to lean on something in the beginning, because without knowing how to relax, it's hard. But if you're doing it in life, like you say, well, I don't have anything to lean on. I want to go over and pick up my dog bowl, then pick up the dog bowl and come up. You can make butt up the wall a real live activity. Please, please do. And if you want to just play with this, go get a bat and stand up and play like you're hitting a ball, and then tuck your butt. And you're going to go, it's all on my neck. It just got all in my neck. Yeah, it'll go from your hips to your neck. Yeah.
Terry in Walla Walla asks, what's the best way to slowly learn to bend the right way? Just slightly bend with a straight back, and then deeper the next day?
I would take an activity you do every day of your life. Like, I have a lot of women who tell me they dry their hair. They sit and do butt up the air. I would go to your sink maybe, and you put your fingers on your spine, and you just lean over and brush your teeth or wash your face, and you spend some time there. That height right there is really great to practice. And then if you have a dog or a cat bowl, you can really mindfully, I have people that say that is when I always do it. They go over, they pick up the cat bowl or the dog bowl. And that is, to me, the secret to making changes. Small commitments every day. Every day. Maybe you just want to go do, but I have people that just do, they go to the gym, they do their workout, and they always do butt up the wall. It's their thing. They put it in their life that way. I encourage you to put it in all of your life, but find the places where you feel. You know you're going to brush your teeth. You know you're going to wash your face. You know you're going to lean over like that. That's a good one.
Carla in Tucson asks, where does rotation begin? In my legs? In my hips?
In your hips. Rotation begins here. So here is my pelvis. It's like a bowl. I'm going to put my hands where my crotch is. There's my crotch. There's the back of my pelvis right here. There's where the rotation is. I'm going from, if you can put your hands here, sides. You can put it in the front, in the back, there. I can put it underneath. So it's like a bowl. The crotch of my pants, the sides of my hips, the front and back of my lower tummy and sacrum. Front and back, sides. So think of a bowl, that you're turning this bowl. That's where rotation begins from. And you should become more and more sensitive after doing this to feeling it a lot inside the groin or the hamstrings, deep in your crotch area maybe. You'll start to realize, oh, I'm really actually moving from my crotch as you get more sensitive. But in the beginning, there's nothing wrong with just saying, well, this is all I really feel right here. That's great. That's perfect.
Last one, Denise in Beaverton, Oregon says, sounds like this could really help my social dancing.
Your social dancing, yes, it'll help your dancing. It'll help your social life. Most people, the turning, yeah, if you learn how to turn, you just become a belly dancer. Belly dancers are one of the greatest dancers out there. And the reason I say that is because they have the freedom and the control. If you have freedom and control of how you move your pelvis, both freedom, and control are there together. When you can do that, it changes the rest of your structure for being able to move from here, this way and this way. But if
I think she may have meant like social dancing, yeah.
Well, when you're social dancing, right here's your center, okay? This is the center of our bodies, in here somewhere. Your belly button or that area is connected to the person in front of you, meaning y'all are going to keep mirroring each other. So if you mirror each other, you know how to turn, and you always end up moving your feet a lot. Because if you're going to turn from here, this is different than baseball. Baseball, planted, twisting, okay? Dancing. This stays still, feet move. Remember, this is called open chain, like a soccer player. Open chain when I want to dance and play soccer. Closed chain when I want to hit a ball. But they both are very dependent on the position of your pelvis and the low back relationship to the sacrum. Sacrum is kind of part of your pelvis. At least I look at it that way. So go look at anatomy a little and realize that baby arch in your back and that relaxed belly have a lot of power, and they're the front and back of your body. Yay. So next week, 2 weeks, no. Next week we're on, same, but 2 weeks from then, I'm going to have to change the days, but I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Subscribe, share. I think this is on Facebook, so you can go to YouTube and subscribe and share, because this ends up on YouTube, and then you can look at it again if you like, and I do shorts from these videos. So have a good week, and see you later.